Soccer Show. Alan Ruff and Simon Donnelly are with me, Peter Martin, for today's show. Hungary against Scotland, not too far away from kick-off. We're still waiting on the teams, but it's fair to suggest that Alex McLeish has given us a strong hint that it's experience this time around, Simon Donnelly.
Yeah, I think there'll be a few more familiar faces. I think a good chance that Armstrong could be back in. And although there's not too much experience here, I think the likes of McGregor and McGinn, I think they'll start tonight. So I'm looking forward to it. I think on the back of Friday night, not too disappointed. It was a wee bit of an experimental side, but looking forward to see how the players perform tonight.
Yep, Ruffy, you can understand why he's gone for experience. I don't think he wants to kind of deflate the squad with back-to-back defeats. He's got to try and get some kind of positivity, because some of the reaction, I think, has been over the top.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it was a wee bit of surprise for me. I think it was a wee bit of surprise for Alec as well, just after one game. So he knows what's round the corner. I think he knows now the importance of maybe taking a good performance and a result of some description out of this game, because I think there are now people, I don't know why, I can't understand why there's people waiting to see him falling flat in his face after just one game, and that's the feeling you get from some of the reports that were coming out. So yeah, I'm hoping he gets a good performance tonight.
Yeah, okay. Big hello to Darren G. Fields, who's watching us on PLZ Soccer on Facebook. Great to have your company. Give us your thoughts, Darren, on how you think it's going to go between Hungary and Scotland tonight. Of course, Hungarian football's not at its best. I think the fans are slightly miffed with the way things are going there. They're very much in a transitional period. So, I don't know. I just wonder about what he's going to do with regards to the front line again. I mean, he doesn't have too many options. That's my only problem with it. Trying to get goals for us as well, Simon.
Yeah, I think it's well documented when Lee Griffiths isn't there, we struggle to replace him. I think McBurney the other night, it was a good, honest performance. You know, he worked hard up top on his own. It'll be interesting to see if he features tonight. Maybe Cummings, maybe James Forrest. You know, I think he's played through the middle for Celtic with his pace, so it'll be interesting to see how they set up.
Yep, Billy Hunter has joined us as well. He's a big Scotland fan. He'll be hoping the fans that have made the journey there will first of all enjoy a good jar, because that's the great thing about Scotland fans. If some of them are not following Rangers and Celtic, the majority of them from other clubs don't get the chance from time to time, Ruffy, to go and see European football on a regular basis with their club side. So Scotland is very much the chance to go with your mates, enjoy the crack as well.
Yeah, I have to say that's what Scottish supporters add to the game. You know, I think if you ask any country they visit, they always bring something to the party, and they do go in numbers. I would actually like to know how they get a half a day off their work or a full day. You know, they're very, very good employees who let them go away, because there'll be about 4,000 or 5,000 at that game.
Yeah, obviously it's very difficult to try and explain to yourself, Ruffy, because you've led a charmed life where everybody's literally giving you things and you really haven't had any kind of manual labour in your life. But what happens, just for the benefit of yourself here, what happens is the Tartan Army, eventually what they do is they set out their holidays and then they save up. You remember saving up, Ruffy, don't you, when you were 16? So they save up and then they allocate these days, and away they go for 2 or 3 days, which is absolutely magnificent. Billy Hunter says 2-1 to Scotland. Boy, I hope you are right, Billy, because I'm looking at it. Listen, you could pick 9 midfielders at times. Of course, keeping the door locked, slammed at the back as well is a key for Alec. I think it's one of the things that he did so well when he had a better calibre of player at Scotland.
Yeah, and I think from Friday night, I think McKenna possibly is one of the successes from the game against Costa Rica. I think he might start again tonight with the experience, and will grow alongside him. And Andy Robertson maybe on the left. So it's important to keep it tight at the back. But I would like to see us go out and perform, you know, moving forward, being exciting and create a lot of chances and get a couple of goals. Yeah, absolutely. A big hi to Joe, who's out there enjoying the footy as well. If you're out there with the Tartan Army, let's hope you're celebrating tonight. We'd like to see this to be the start of something special under Alex McLeish. Didn't quite work out against Costa Rica, but I think a lot of new players. We might get 1 or 2 who can emerge over this series of friendlies and then into the Nations League as well.
I'm not going to get into a knee-jerk reaction if it doesn't go according to plan. I hope it's a better performance, Ruffy. That's the only thing out of this. If there's a better performance, great if we get a draw or a win, but if you get a defeat, depending on the circumstances of it, as long as we get some good performances.
Yeah, you're right. I hope it isn't a defeat. If the last game's end to go by, you know, as these people I was talking about earlier on will just jump on the bandwagon. Another one, and obviously 2 really difficult away games in South America, and then a Belgium game, you know, at home before the 2 really important ones. It's all right saying we're not really bothering if we don't win any of these games, because I think it's important that you go into big games on the back of some kind of performance. So if it is a defeat, let's hope it's a good performance defeat and we can pick something out of the game. You know, I'm sure Alec will do that. He's not going to slaughter anybody if we get beat. So I think it's individual performances we're looking for as well.
Okay, and also Darren says Hungary won, Scotland too. So fairly optimistic among some people on Facebook and Twitter as well. Okay, let me ask you then, Simon, as we switch from the Facebook predictions. David Nimmo says Scotland will win 1-0. Give us your prediction.
I think I'll go for 2 each. I think an exciting game, and as you said there, I hope the creative players going forward really perform well. I think I'm looking forward to the likes of McGregor and McGinn, who I think have had fantastic seasons domestically. I'd like to see them stamp their authority in the national level, and I'll go for a 2 each.
Yeah, I don't want 2 each at all, because that means that we've let in 2 goals, and that will really crush that back line, which is at the best of times brittle to say the least. On the evidence of how we failed previous campaigns, I'm going to go. I thought about a draw, Ruffy. I'm going to stick with a draw. I'm going to say 1-1. What about yourself?
Yeah, I would love to see a win as well. I'm sure Alec and the boys would as well, and the supporters. I don't think we're quite there yet. Our defence hasn't been tested yet. I know Costa Rica were a good side, but they never put us under any pressure at all. I think there will be a wee bit of pressure tonight, so it'll be interesting to see how the defence do, and I think they'll come away with a 1 each as well.
Yeah. Do you think the friendlies are worthwhile? That's Gary Kilpatrick who's mentioned that.
I think they're worthwhile for Alex and his backroom staff, you know, to really get the boys together, gel the new ones in, and if we can walk away from the 3 or 4 friendlies with 2 or 3 guys who have pushed themselves into the starting 11, I think that's definitely worthwhile, yeah.
Okay, couple of things that I want to get your thoughts on, lads. First of all, Jackie McNamara's resigned from York City. He's your old mate. You played with him. You were part of the coaching team for him as well at Dundee United and Partick Thistle. It was a strange position that he got himself into. I mean, you know, more often than not, every time I met him, we had a smile or a chuckle about it. What was the thinking behind him going to become a chief executive?
I think just the relationship he built up, Peter, with the chairman over the time we were there, you know, and it came to the point where the football and the results weren't happening for us. I think he created a role for him, you know, he felt Jackie could bring something to the club. They had a project, a 5-year project for this new stadium. And in fairness to Jackie, you know, it would have been easy for him at the end of the managerial situation just to walk away from it. He chose to stay on and do his best for the club, but with the chairman resigning, I think it was inevitable that Jackie was going to follow.
Yeah, of course. I think he should be back in football. Do you think Jackie will get back into football? And if that's the case, should Ruffy and I start to look for someone else? Someone, you know, maybe with a similar look to yourself, really fit, always training, posting on Instagram how great you look. Should we be looking for someone of that same ilk now? Because you could be leaving us.
Who have you got in mind? Listen, I think Jackie's got a lot to offer in football. His experience as a player and a coach, you know, he's did really well over the 5 or 6 years he was a manager. Certainly excelled as a player. You know, it'd be a shame for him to walk away from the game. He's just resigned this morning, so I've not had time to speak to him. Time will tell. Yeah, absolutely. Stick with us here in PLZ Soccer. If he's not here with us next week, Ruffy and myself will be joined by Homer Simpson, who will be the replacement for your man here. Okay, listen, we talk about football and players sometimes that can antagonise, some players who suffer a fair bit of hatred and abuse. Scott Brown, the gesture yesterday after the announcement of the testimonial game against the Republic of Ireland,
I just think it shows the class of the guy, Ruffy. He's going to donate some of the proceeds from the game to Liam Miller's family. That, for me, is top drawer. Yeah,
it's one of the good stories to come out of the game. We hear about so many bad stories about football, but this is definitely a good one. You know, obviously a young guy passing away so very, very early and leaving a family and kids behind, and it's good that Scott has identified that he wants to help probably a friend and the family as well. So yeah, I think the supporters will get right behind this one. I think it'll be an absolute sellout and a fantastic day if you can get a ticket.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a brilliant gesture by him. I mean, listen, excuse me, much maligned at times. You know, he's Marmite. You either love him or you hate him on the park. If he's playing for your team, you love him. And he also this season, I think, will win best celebration ever when 4 Aberdeen players had a kick and a swing of the ball at him, but he still managed to get up to annoy them.
Listen, I don't know Scott that well. I've met him once or twice over the years at the Lubo and Henrik game at the end of the season there. Really nice guy. It's a persona that he brings that we've seen with different players over the years that they brought to the 90 minutes when they're on the pitch. They're winners, you know, and they're not out there to make friends, but his gesture to Liam Miller's family is a touch of class.
Yeah, absolutely. Well done to Scott Brown. Let's hope you've got a sellout for that match, and I think the Miller family will show their gratitude. I'm almost certain. A brilliant gesture. Okay, just before we finish, Champions League rules have changed. It looks as if you can invite your granny, your cousins and everybody onto the bench now for the Champions League, Europa League final, the Super Cup final too, because quite simply they've extended the substitutes bench. You can now have somewhere in the region of 12. You have a 23-man squad for the Champions League final. Suddenly you can get a medal and you're not getting on the park.
Yeah, it's given everybody, I suppose, a taste of it. I don't know if the chairman will be too happy with the bonuses they have to pay out. But yeah, it's one of these ones. It's another move. I don't know if I agree with it. You know, there's going to be a lot of players sitting there twiddling their thumbs, but I suppose they're part of it. They'll be stripped, and you've got the chance of getting on the pitch.
Yeah. The other aspect of it is you can register players now without any restrictions after the group stage as well. This is, of course, some players that have played for one club can actually play for another club in the tournament. Ruffy, good rule?
Yeah, I think it's a good rule because obviously you've just said the pool of any particular team is so big now that there could be a chance you never even go on the park, but you've been on the bench for 5 minutes or whatever. So the way players are moving about now, particularly in Europe, I think it's a good rule. It's obviously they've identified 2 or 3 players that it's happened to, and yeah, I think that's a good one they've come up with.
Yeah, the times for Champions League, Europa League will change as well. Some matches will kick off at 5 to 6, some of them at 8 o'clock as well. They're shifting all over the place, and to be quite brutal on this one, football's changed that dramatically with television and live TV. You know, there's no point in moaning about it anymore.
No, I think the only person that moans in my house is my wife, because the 4 of me and my 3 boys watch football from, you know, lunchtime on a Sunday to tea time. It's just the nature of it now with the TV taking over. You know, you can pick up the remote control and find a game quite easily any time of the day.
Yeah, just out of curiosity, because obviously Ruffy and myself are not in that position. Are you in complete control in the house?
I knew as soon as I mentioned that you weren't going to let that one go. We've luckily got two a living room and a lounge, so she's in one and we're in the other.
That's absolutely fantastic. What you need to do is eventually you get a little camera where you can speak to each other from each room, Ruffy, you know. How are you? You know, things like that. Don't do the is the dinner one, because you're going to get banjoed right now. Do you make the dinner?
I do, actually. Yeah,
I knew that. That's a good thing, by the way. It's a 21st century man, Simon Donnelly. I'm not even going to prolong this. I'm not.
26 Aberdeen.
Okay, fantastic. Wow, you get out of that one brilliantly. 4th substitute can be introduced just basically during extra time. This is obviously, I think, in the knockout stages, you know, when if a match goes to extra time, you can bring on a 4th substitute. I think that's sensible.
Yeah, I do as well. You know, obviously in 90 minutes anything can happen, so if it goes to extra time, people get tired, pick up injuries, why not have a fresh player to come on? It's the same for both sides, so happy with that one as well.
Yeah, I'd love, because both of you are former Scotland internationalists, I'd love to get to a situation where we are excited again about the national side. Sometimes, Ruffy, because of the level of player that you played with, you sometimes just look and think, look at the standard here. You know, do you look down at it, or just wish we could get back to that level?
No, I wish we could go back to that level. I personally would like to get to a final as a supporter. I haven't done that. I don't know if you've done that. But I think it would be a great occasion if we could get to one of the finals, a European or obviously the World Cup. And just to be part of the whole thing, you know, and from a spectator point of view, see a successful Scotland side.
Yeah, it's a lovely dream. Great sentiment from Ruffy. It was 3 World Cups he's been to. He'd love to go to a final with Scotland. That's not going to happen, I think it's fair to say. And if it does, Simon Donnelly and myself will be contacting Ruffy. Ruffy, we've made it to a final. Are you there? Knock 3 times. Let us know. No. Okay. Listen, we might not even be here. Yeah, exactly. Fingers crossed. We'll be old and grey.
I'll be watching it from up there anyway.
Yeah. 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 Really? Really? He's being slightly optimistic there, by the way. Let me tell you this, you won't need to turn the heating on. Anyway, on that note, I leave you with that. Hopefully Scotland can get the win from Ruffy, from Simon Donnelly and from myself, Peter Martin. Don't forget, get on to www.plzsoccer.com. You get all the news across European and world football, England and Scotland especially. There's lots of competitions that you can get involved in now because we've got a fantastic new app. All you have to do is download PLZ Soccer app in Google Play and of course in the App Store as well. Look out for some special competitions we've got coming up too. So from Simon, Ruffy and myself, thanks for watching.